Listen, did you know that Bitcoin was called a scam for like over 10 years and called a dead scam at that and denied by over 400 banks? But now some of those same banks on ETFs and then jumping through hoops to be able to tap into the crypto market. Could history be repeating itself with BG Wealth? Now, as I always say, only time will tell. I don't have a crystal ball to say, what is going to happen. However, I'm just paying attention to the numbers. It's day 68, and I'm paying attention to the culture and the conversations and the lives that are being changed and the withdrawals that are happening. People actually spending real money tangibly and pushing through and really wanting something different and overcoming the obstacles and making it a point to figure out how they can get on the side of BG Wealth Sharing so they can also see progress on a daily basis. People are winning every day. If you're in BG Wealth Sharing and you're doing your trading, people are winning every day. So it makes sense for the growth to take place because people are seeing increase every day. And if you're one of those people, I want you to type those things in the comments. But this is what you got to understand. Bitcoin was called a scam for a very long time. Now they're looking at it like it's a must-have asset that you should have in your asset category or column, or just want it to be in your toolbox, something that could be passed down. And once it no longer is available, the cost of it could potentially go up. And some people still don't believe Bitcoin. They feel like it could go to zero. So it's still that group of people, but a broad amount of people definitely have adopted Bitcoin. In addition to that, did you know that the credit cards were viewed as a scam in like the 1950s? In the 1950s, they were like, nah, this plastic, nah, I want my real money. So everything goes through a process to where they look at things as a potential scam. But this is what changes things: mass adoption. Mass adoption. So it doesn't really matter if you think it's a scam or if you don't agree with it. Like at one point, people were carrying around whatever they view money to be. But after a while, that thing got too heavy. So whether they were carrying around gold or silver, literally, coins, literally, that transferred into them having some type of reserve note that was backed by gold. Money was no longer backed by gold after a certain amount of time. And then they start carrying just paper dollars that were not backed by gold, but enough people agreed that it had value. And since enough people agreed that it had value, companies, businesses, people were willing to accept this paper currency. And as a result of that, that is what I call mass adoption. If enough people are willing to believe and give the energy and value to this particular thing, then other people have to get right or get left. And then money became what it is, and it still has value to this day. But then it started going the digital route and credit cards and all of those things. But mass adoption, enough people adopting it, is what allows it to continue to grow. So pay attention to those things to make sure that you're not missing out on something if BG Wealth Sharing is something that you're considering. Like if you're on the fence and you still are, fearful of joining because of all of the things that you heard and things that people have said, I get it. But don't you be the individual who could deprive your family of the returns and the multiplication and compounding that can come from you being a part of BG Wealth Sharing, just by you saying, you know what, let me take it a shot. Yeah, I was on that side, but let me at least consider it. And this is no pressure, not convincing. I'm just paying attention to certain things. And if you want to be a part of it, it's a link down below. You can click to get started. Now, I also want to share a clip of Professor Stephen Beer's recent training on the Zoom call, and I want you to hear the man behind the mission. I really want you to hear the man behind the mission and how it appears that his mission is much bigger than money. He sees money from a different viewpoint, and how people experience money from a different viewpoint as well. And if you can catch what I caught, you might see that this thing has the potential to change the game, change, finances for many. That being said, let's go ahead and play his video. Then
Everyone, there's nothing shameful about open admitting that money is important, right? So because some people are just not pretty good with this. They're denying it. So no one can exist independently in this world without money, right? So a large part of our adult confidence essentially comes from money. No one is an exception, right? If you have, for example, elderly parents and young children to support, you don't even have the right to collapse from exhaustion. When income is low and savings are low and depleted, your life easily becomes cautious. So precarious and filled with anxiety, right? So, therefore, if you want to live a more relaxed and confident life, you must improve your ability to withstand life's risks. And a large part of this ability comes from accumulating assets. Your attitude towards money will ultimately determine the height of your life, whether you like it or not. This is a reality. A wealthy life offers more choices and greater freedom. But money never comes to you automatically. It only flows to those who are willing to put in the effort and take sustained actions. Right. It also comes from the responsibility that you're holding. So if you truly want to change your current situation, please don't rely solely on a fixed salary. Just getting by will only lead to long-term anxiety and stagnation. Because if you're working for someone, you never know if you're going to be fired today or tomorrow, right? So even still, you have the anxiety, even if they promised you a contract for 20, 50 years or so. Similarly, don't focus all your energy on how to save money. Instead of desperately trying to save money, focus on improving your ability to earn money, right? It's not money are not just about savings them, but they're just to earn them. So when you spend the time, you spend researching how to save money and how to earn more money, your life will undergo a fundamental change. So life is short and fleeting, right? Spending money is an instinct right now. Earning money is a skill, especially these days. Now, I sincerely hope that what I've shared tonight can help everyone reduce maybe confusion, overcome inner hesitation, and step out of the complacent state. So, for the rest of our lives, may every member of our BGUL7 family will not be enslaved by material possessions, nor troubled by money. So, having savings in your account and inner confidence, uh, not only know how to spend money, but also has the ability to continuously earn it. And by the way, yeah, I have some good news to share today.
So there's a few key points that he touched that I want to hit on. I feel like it's definitely a bigger mission at hand. First thing he says, you should not be ashamed of, wanting more money. Some people are and they hide the fact that they want more money. You shouldn't be ashamed of that based on the type of world that we're living in society that, requires you to have some form of money. So you shouldn't be ashamed about that. And that's important to state because sometimes people use money as or they weaponize money. How you just going doing this for the money? Well, money is a tool, and like any tool, you want to be able to use the tool in a way that benefits you and those that you love, even if it's much bigger than you having the money yourself. So, you know, I'm in agreement with that. He then went on to say that in this world that's revolving around money and certain forms of money, that if you have parents that you're taking care of or looking after, and you have children or grandchildren, you can't even collapse if you wanted to, meaning that even if you're tired, you still got to push through because it's somebody depending on you. And in many cases, money is one of the things that can solve several different issues. Not everything, but it's certain things that with more money, you could be able to serve multiple people in multiple ways. If you're taking care of elderly, parents, then there's certain things that money would allow you to do that not having it would force you to have to do, if you know what I mean. And that goes across many different angles. So when you mention it, it's like, yeah, we are kind of slaves circumstance of money if we allow ourselves to be. But if you get money out of the way as an issue, opportunities unlock and open up. That stood out. He also mentioned that, it's one thing to save money, but you also want to position yourself to increase to a skill level that allows you to be better at earning money. He says spending money is like just instinctive. People just do it instinctively. But earning money is something that you want to get better at, making a skill, meaning you have to become better. You have to grow into the person who deserves and is worthy of attracting more money. So that's very important to note, because that ties into what I was saying earlier. If BG, wealth sharing, cease to exist, you want to be strengthening yourself, strengthening your skills in order to position yourself to earn outside of BG wealth sharing, in addition to doing your daily trades, doing your withdrawal, all of those things. So that's very important to note. And it was a couple other things, but the last thing I hit on is when he said that, many people are, people who are in BG Wealth Sharing, he looks forward to the future of BG Wealth Sharing members never being a slave to materials, to the material world, to the materialistic things, and a slave to money, because the BG Wealth Sharing was willing to pretty much go through the tough times and grow through this and be a part of what helped to empower and impact the lives of many. So salute to those of you who are in BG Wealth Sharing, because I promise you had to either jump through some hoops, overcome some hurdles, some obstacles, even to get in, number one. Number two, you had to deal with the naysayers and hear the things that they're saying if you shared it with them, or just the things that you might have found or heard, or heard people say after your joining that might have gave you that buyer's resent. Like you had that, buyer's remorse, as they call it, where you invest or you buy something, you're like, you feel bad about it, but you still push through. You still kept doing your daily trades, still plugging in, still sharing it with others. Salute to all of you, because I believe that will come with a great reward that you were willing to push through during this time. Because like I stated in the beginning, the things like Bitcoin, crypto, all of those things were demonized. Now they're working it into the structure, the very fabric of the life we're living. And you haven't even seen the gist of it. Yeah, you see that people can buy and invest in crypto and Bitcoin, and it's on ETFs. But when that blockchain really kick in and take off, and you understand that everything is tokenized and tied to the blockchain, and how that actually can be better and make things faster and smoother, you'll see that a word that was once demonized became the very thing that helped in the time when people are worried about AI and all of these deep fakes and things of that nature. The blockchain has the ability to solve for that issue, and you had the ability to, show that things are real on the back end as it relates to the blockchain, things of that nature. So I get off of that tangent, but I just want you to understand that the things that people demonize or look down upon or frown upon oftentimes become a staple. Could it be BG Wealth Sharing? Absolutely. Could it not? That's possible as well. But nonetheless, I want you to, if you're considering joining BG Wealth Sharing, there's a link down below that to help you get started. It's pretty seamless. People have been able to do it on their own, but I'm also available to help those who need help with getting the ball rolling and getting started. If you're already a part of BG Wealth Sharing, don't sleep on that system that's down there. It can help you. It can help you, share this with individuals and let people be more self-sufficient. It can help you if you're growing a team, because it allows you to have your links rotated to where you're growing not just your own account, but your team account as well. And it has a smart link in there to where they're constantly refreshing the links to make sure that it's a functioning link. If one is available inside of the bond chat, it'll be swapped out inside of your system, so that way you're not missing out on opportunities for people to enroll just because you didn't have the right link. The team behind the system is doing that as well. So that's all I got for this video. Drop your success stories down in the comments. I love to see them. Let us know on a day-by-day, week-by-week, month-by-month basis how you're winning as you're taking your withdrawal. Let it be known, because the naysayers need something to see, and we're going to give them plenty to see. And if those of you who are on the fence or considering getting off the fence, then we'll welcome you on this side. But of those of you who are like, nah, I don't want to be a part of this for whatever reason, all right, I get it. Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.